house. Just absolutely shit house. None of them remember the moves. They came out like those tortured cows seeing sunlight for the first time. Just like, I've dropped her off every Saturday for 10 weeks, and this is the shit we get. Just shit acting. None of it was believable. Like at one point, she just broke character and waved at me. Recommend it? No. I wouldn't send my worst enemy here.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Monday, October 28th, 2024. I'm Jay Skeets here in the spooky Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, Tass Mellis.
Happy fall, y'all.
Next to him, it's the bearded one, my top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby.
Hey,
yo. And over yonder, making the magic happen, super producer JD.
Hello.
There he is. Here we are. Shout out to everybody joining us live. Hit the like button, subscribe, share the show with your friends, podcast listeners, 5-star ratings and reviews. You got a week here to get in some new ones for TK to take us through the best when we get to the Drop podcast on Friday. But thanks to everybody that already left one. I saw a couple more came in over the weekend. And speaking of the weekend, we're doing winners and losers from the NBA action. Whole lot to talk about. But before that, we had our second wedgie of the season. And it once again came from the Washington Wizards. This time, Corey Kispert sticking the three-point wedgie on the wing. So yeah, the Wiz have both of them. Not bad.
Corey with a kiss off the window right into the wedge.
Yeah, the mustache helping out with the wedgie there. So our second wedgie of the year, that was on Saturday night. And we love to see everybody on Twitter or Instagram. Let us know when a wedgie happens.
We love it.
Don't ever assume that we're seeing it live.
That's right.
You know, there's a lot of games. You can miss some things. So always, don't say, you know what, somebody will tell them about it. Don't do that.
Don't even think about it.
I'd rather get 100 people telling us the same thing. Oh, hey, did you catch the wedgie? And here's the time and the quarter. Than, you know, everybody just assuming, oh, somebody else will do it. That's dangerous.
Do it.
The wedgie rate that we expect has slowed down immensely. It was over 60, now it's at 58.
Okay. Small sample size.
Well, yeah, sure.
We get 2 tonight, it'll skyrocket back over 60.
You're right.
We're getting 2 tonight. I'm calling it now. All right.
You're
NBA
right.
weekend winners. Let's start with the winners. We're positive Pete's here. Trey, get us started. Who's your big winner of the weekend?
The Los Angeles Lakers, or shall I say the Los Angeles Wakers. 3 W's.
All those W's. Wow.
I wasn't even planning on saying that. Imagine I spent minutes of my day this morning pre-writing that. No, that was just completely freestyled off the top of the dome. But the Lakers, they're 3-0 for the first time since 2011. 3-0. They came from 22 back to beat the Suns on Friday. On Sunday, LeBron was the king of kings and lord of lords. The takeover in the fourth quarter is mostly what is getting the winner of the weekend for me here, though the Lakers have been great to start the season. LeBron scored 16 points in basically the first 3 minutes of the fourth quarter against the Kings. He went 6 for 6 from the field, hitting some deep threes. 5 rebounds as well, because every time the Kings missed, LeBron just grabbed the board and brought it up and hit a shot. Had 6 assists because they started guarding him eventually. Finished with 32 points, 14 rebounds, and 10 assists. The Kings had a lead going into the fourth, and it was gone instantly because LeBron was just on another level. He was so good in this one. Anthony Davis has really been carrying the Lakers so far this season. He's like 34 points, 11 rebounds, getting to the free throw line all the time, but that just means LeBron has a lot of energy left for the fourth quarters. Haven't been a lot of teams that LeBron is on where he can kind of chill through the first 3 quarters of a game and then turn it on in the fourth quarter. But that's definitely what happened against the Kings on Saturday night. Yeah, it was a back-to-back. I said Sunday earlier, but it was indeed Saturday. It was indeed. But great stuff from the Lakers. Great stuff from JJ Redick. You know, this guy's drawing up plays that all the coaching sickos on Twitter are like, oh man, look what he's cooking up. Look what he's cooking up. Here's what I like that he's cooking up. Offensive rebounding. Because I went and looked at all the stats. I'm like, this is the same Lakers team, but they're 3-0 right now, and they look better. Obviously, they're playing through Anthony Davis. That's a huge part. JJ has made it a point that he is actually going to be the hub for this Lakers team. But they're 4th in offense right now. Cool. They were 4th last year. They're 28th in three-point rate. He told us they're shooting more threes this year. They were 28th last year. But JJ also told us we're offensive rebounding this season. 30th, according to Basketball Reference. Last season, they're at 13th right now. They're also forcing a whole bunch more turnovers than they did last season. They're basically winning the possession game here and shooting it well enough from the outside and getting to the free throw line all the time. They've got Anthony Davis looking great. They got LeBron looking great. Rui Hachimura seems to he's got confidence instilled in him from being a starter here. Austin Reeves looks good. Perfect start to the season for the Lakers, literally 3-0, and I thought both wins were pretty impressive.
Yeah, they played good teams too, is the big part here. They played the Wolves, the Suns, and the Kings. I mean, these are all teams that obviously think they're going to be a playoff team. Maybe all four of them think they might have home court advantage in the first round. That's like where they think they should be. So quality wins, even the opponents they're playing.
Yeah, tough losses for the Kings now with the Lakers and the Wolves having leads in the second half that went poof, especially when you're playing LeBron James, who had 16 points in 2 minutes and 59 seconds in that fourth quarter. Just hitting shot after shot after shot. And he said he's going to play in all 82 games. Pretty neat.
Okay.
This guy is
don't
energized.
Disbelieve this guy.
He is energized. And I was like, what's like the main reason why? Well, one, his son's there. That's pretty cool. Energize you a little bit. Obviously had a great summer playing for the Olympic team, winning gold medal. JJ Redick, his podcast buddy, comes in and is calling the shots now. And then I think, the most important part probably, and you said it there, TK, is like, it's AD's team, really? And I can be like the super closer, sort of what LeBron may be thinking. Like, we can like run everything for the most part through him, and then I can pick my spots a little bit more. But he's energized.
Redick is definitely going through Anthony Davis. Starting Rui Hachimura, I think, is a nice difference from last year's team, which is virtually the same, other than Dalton Connect, who's their sixth man. Great draft pick. The guy just a great player. And then, beyond him, Gabe Vincent knows what he's doing. He's not hurt this year and doesn't have to do a ton. Max Christie, Jackson Hayes are their four guys. And Brian James hasn't played since game one. And I think, he's playing his best players right now. They got that whole Bronny LeBron thing out of the way. And now, going through AD is playing a big role. That guy's obviously very, very talented and durable. I mean, he's durable right now. He just seems like he's going to play every single game too. Maybe him and Braun will play 82 games. Who knows?
I loved the story from the weekend too. I guess it was Baron Davis.
Yeah.
The one breaking the news that he saw JJ Redick at the car wash and he was drawing up plays.
What?
As the ultimate sicko does. Just can't stop, scribbling like plays
scribbling
on the old whiteboard as he just waits for his car to be washed.
Oh, he was waiting.
Yeah.
So he saw him just waiting for a car,
guess so.
not in the car.
Said it was a good time to do it. He's watching film, I guess, on the laptop too.
Oh, okay.
He's crunching the numbers.
Right.
So good stuff. I mean, the perfect start here for the Lakers.
They look sweet.
They look good. They're one of, 4 teams that are undefeated here still. It's them. It's the Thunder, who we'll get to. It's the Celtics, and it's the Cavaliers, who have had a pretty cupcake schedule, but they've looked dominant as well. All right, let's keep it going. Who you got for a winner?
I'm going with the Memphis Grizzlies because it's a feel-good story. Their first game at home this season after a tumultuous season last year that was just full of injuries, and they win it. They really beat the Orlando Magic. The lead was huge, and it ended up just being a double-digit win, but they shellacked them. They sure did. And they got Jaren Jackson Jr. back, his first game of the season, so he's starting beside Zach Edey. That's going to be interesting to watch. Zach Edey took and make his first 3 of the season, and he's been practicing that, apparently, and he's also been practicing running up and down because the Grizzlies play fast. And not just because Zach Edey is 7'4", the biggest man in the NBA.
Running.
He's got to run at a very quick pace. They got the third fastest pace in the league, so that's different for them. Also, they have the third fastest pace because they play deep. They had 11 players against the Orlando Magic play. 17 minutes? Or the 6 guys off the bench played 17 or more minutes. That's a lot of players, and they played well. Santi Aldama, 22 points. The guy is a baller. Scottie Pippen, 12 assists off the bench. What? Jay Huff, as we talked about last week, Jay Huff, he will huff, he will puff, and he will throw those dunks down.
There it is.
I didn't know that
Did
this
you
guy
write
could
that
do
one?
that. Oh, you're damn right I did.
That was worth it, man. Yeah, that was really nice. He had a reverse dunk in half court.
Yeah.
I couldn't
That was
believe
crazy.
it. Yeah, he got the ball in the corner, and he took it to the rack and just threw a reverse dunk.
Yeah.
It was kind of on
It was like in
Mo
traffic.
Wagner.
Definition of in traffic.
Yeah, and then he caught an alley-oop and threw a reverse dunk as well.
Jay Huff.
Jay Huff. And we all thought of him as a three-point shooter, and he definitely can shoot the three, hit multiple, I think 3 threes in this game. But he put it on the floor a little bit, as we said, that dunk, took it to the rack another time. As a backup center, 7 foot, I'm surprised the Denver Nuggets didn't keep him on the roster. He was on their roster last year. He would be perfect. We'll get to the Nuggets and their problems a little bit later in the show. All that to be said, Memphis, it felt like a college game there at home. 11 guys coming off the bench or coming off the roster. That is pretty cool for them. I'm not even going to include that they lost to the Houston Rockets on Friday, and that's fine. They went into Houston and lost, but they're 2-1 to start this season, beating Utah and Orlando. So a good start. And again, Jaren Jackson Jr. coming back for the first time, very important. So it's going to be Triple J and Zach Edey starting beside Marcus Smart, Desmond Bane, and Ja Morant. We'll see how it works.
Yeah.
If those guys spread the floor, that's the important part for Jaren Jackson Jr. and Zach Edey, to step out to give Ja all the floor that he can get. So it'll be fun. It'll be a fun team.
They're definitely going to be back to a 50-win team if the bench continues to play like this. Like, these are huge contributions, like you said. These guys come in and like completely change the game, and they have good starters on top of that. So yeah, they like the Huff and Aldama and like all these guys contribute. It's crazy.
Jalen Wells, who?
Yeah, right.
Jake LaRavia.
So that's a big boost for them, and it was a big reason why I think they are 2-1. Any Grizzlies thoughts there, TK?
Yeah, Jay Huff, he had one block, and they called it a Huff stuff.
Oh,
This
really?
guy's going to be an instant fan favorite. You
Yeah.
can just tell. I do love all of the bigs for the Grizzlies because I'm like, right now, if you're throwing Huff in the mix, Aldama got a start against the Rockets as well. They needed his shooting kind of before Jaren Jackson Jr. Came out. But they got 4 solid guys who it looks like can play, and maybe they're all stretch fives, I guess. If Zach Edey's going to be shooting threes, I would personally like to see him make a hook shot. He's 7'4". Go actually score inside. That'd be cool. Slow start for him, but the Grizzlies look good. I don't know how I feel about these Vancouver Grizzlies jerseys, though. They look beautiful, but you're in Memphis.
Yeah. It's like taking the knife and just
Little bit,
twisting
yeah.
it a little bit
Little
to
bit.
the Vancouver fan base.
You
They
never-
look awesome.
They look sweet. They look really cool.
And I think we are getting a matchup at some point this season between the Raptors and their throwbacks and these, Memphis/Vancouver Grizzly throwbacks. I think it's on the schedule. I think somebody has been checking the court vision. What is it, locker room or something? What the hell is
Locker
that?
vision, yeah, locker vision.
That's
Yeah,
it.
you're
Yeah,
right.
They tell you the jerseys.
yeah. So I think it's on the schedule for a game or two. So
I wonder how Brandon Clark feels about that. He's the Canadian on this Memphis team.
So true.
How do you feel? Let's ask you about it. It does feel a little strange.
yeah. But the merch looks amazing.
Oh, it's
so
the
it's
merch.
like, why not?
We haven't had good jerseys since Vancouver. I guess that's what they're saying, sort of. You know what I mean? I mean, no, the city jerseys have been good. I've liked their city edition jerseys. And theirs are fine. They're totally fine.
All right, so the Grizz get a winner of the weekend. Let's keep it going. I'll go with the Oklahoma City Thunder as my winner of the weekend. They beat the Hawks, 128-104 on Sunday night. That was a matchup of two teams that were undefeated heading into it. You're going to see the final score for that game and go, wow, that must have been a snoozer of a game.
No.
They crushed them. It wasn't.
It was not.
It was the opposite of what you were saying with that the Grizzlies Magic game, where it sort of looked a little closer than maybe it really was. This was the opposite. This was a close game for definitely 3 quarters and even a little bit more, and then the Thunder just went on a massive run. Hawks led 92-91 to start the fourth. OKC ripped off a 13-0 run. Big part of that was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They then held the Hawks scoreless for like 3 minutes as they just kept pouring it on. They outscored them 39-18 in the final frame. That's why you get that the end result there. But good game. It's actually a good game from the Hawks. I was sort of impressed. And they're a lot more fun to watch, which is nice, the Hawks this year. But man, the Thunder's defense is unreal. Like, it's going to be them or probably the Celtics that have the best defense in the league. And they're still even missing guys. They're missing Hartenstein. They're missing Jalen Williams, who could at least help at the big spots. But it doesn't matter when Chet Holmgren's blocking everything inside. When you can put Caruso out there for 20 minutes and he just completely changes the game. He's like the opposite of a guy that you usually bring off the bench to be like, hey man, go light it up, go score 20 points in 12 minutes. He's like the opposite of that. He doesn't score at all, but he's like completely just blows up the game defensively. And then all these other guys, SGA getting into the passing lanes and Wallace doing a good job in the torture chamber, locking up Trae Young, man. They can defensively, they are scary. So they're perfect right now, 3-0. And yeah, you can see why a lot of people pick them to win, 50 plus games, 55 games, 60 games to have that number 1 seed in the West, because they are deep and they're still even missing guys, which is the weird part.
The fourth quarter defense was ridiculous. This was a really poor fourth quarter for the Hawks. They went 6 of 20 from the field, scored 18 points. The Thunder had 4 steals and 5 blocks just in the fourth quarter. They put out 5 good defenders. They basically had Caruso and Dort out there alongside Chet, Jalen Williams, and SGA. those guys are all good, like, positional defenders. They stay in front of their guys, but they all 5 make plays as well. And that's the big thing. It's not just like bend, don't break. It's we're taking the ball from you and going to the other end.
Yeah.
The Hawks look completely overwhelmed. They look tiny compared to the Thunder, I thought. Super impressive for them. OKC should have won this game, but it was close through the first 3 quarters and basically 1 minute of the fourth quarter. And then just like that, it wasn't. The Hawks could not get anything going, could not even get into sets, really, offensively.
Yeah, the Thunder on a back-to-back looked like a little bit defensively that they were just waiting a little bit until it got a little bit tight, and it was the fourth quarter, and they just turned it on. And they said, nah, we're just that good defensively. And it felt like a quick game watching it. And I checked the duration of every single one of their games. They play quick games. That's what they do. The night before, it was a 2-hour and 9-minute game. They're just quick games. I'm looking at the Bulls, so I'm not giving you every single OKC. I messed up, and I'm looking at
that one wasn't close. So
yeah,
we're slowing it down in the
true.
fourth very much. I don't think
210, 209, and 223. It was, I guess, a little bit longer, but anyways, games are faster these days. They're happening.
We're happy with
this
that.
season.
Great.
It's happening.
SGA 35 points, 11 boards, 9 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks. That's an MVP-like line right there. He was awesome. Again, you saw it again against the Hawks. He's just more confident in taking the 3-point shot, stepping into it more. He'll do it in transition, and it's just another weapon he's added to his game for a guy that feels unstoppable to ever shut down. They're just awesome. I love from the jump ball of this game. It's like a little tiny thing, but it was like, whoa, that's is sending a message. The Hawks win the jump ball. Trae Young gets it in the backcourt. Obviously, he's about to bring it up. Lou Dort and another Thunder player basically go and trap him 70 feet. This is the start of the game. It's mainly Dort. You're in for a long night. You are in the chamber here. And then again, when he goes and sits, it's like Wallace gets to take over, who's a nightmare. So Trae Young, he got his points, he got his line, but it was 10 turnovers. Nothing was easy. There's someone draped all over him all the time. So they look so good. And, they're living up to the expectations that a lot of us had for them at the start of the season. Let's do another round, though. Who you got for a winner?
Brandon Ingram, I got as a winner. Would you say that he hit the first game winner of the season? I would kind of say that.
Yeah.
I would say that for making the case as a winner. On Friday night against the Portland Trailblazers, basically a step back fadeaway over Anthony Simons. I guess there was 5 seconds left or so on the clock against the Blazers there. Zion makes a nice block on Anthony Simons trying to take it to the hole there at the end. But I'm giving Ingram the winner specifically because I kind of think he saved the first 2 games for New Orleans. The Pels haven't looked great, really, I don't think, to start this season, but Brandon Ingram was the best player on the court opening night against Chicago, had 33 points. Then he had 21, 8, and 4 in their first win against the Blazers here. I think he's got a case. I know this is a big prediction. Okay. He's got a case to be in the mix here as Western Conference Player of the Week.
Oh, yeah, we'll find out today.
I think it's going to go to Anthony Davis, who he was traded for. But Brandon Ingram, you're a finalist in my book. Also good news for the Pels. They got Zion back from an illness on Friday. He looked a little rusty to me, but finished with 16 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 blocks. Jordan Hawkins is the other kind of interesting player, I think, right now for the Pelicans. He's had 13, 24, and 17, shooting a perfect 52.9% from 2 and from 3.
Ooh,
he's at perfectly 52.9 because he's making the exact same amount of shots. But the offense, to me, is kind of struggling for the Pelicans without DeJounte Murray. They've played the Bulls, the Blazers, and the Blazers. Pretty juicy schedule.
I'll say.
The Blazers took care of business and smacked them on Sunday. It's hard to win the baseball series when you're playing 2 in the same arena. So shout out to the Blazers. They're a mini winner getting their first win. But the schedule's going to get tougher for New Orleans, and they look pretty stagnant. I mean, I know they're missing the guy that they were assuming would be their point guard. Zion came back for the first game against the Blazers. Little rusty, looked even worse, I thought, in the second game against the Blazers. So it's kind of been nice that they didn't trade Brandon Ingram before the season started because he's helped them get 2 wins that are going to be important towards the end of the season. It's ridiculous to check standings now, but every single game is going to matter in the Western Conference. So losing 1 to the Blazers, bad, but at least you beat the Bulls, at least you beat the Blazers, and at least Ingram is there making things happen.
Yeah. It's a good point. They now go and play Golden State here this week in another baseball series.
Yeah.
Like they play, Tuesday and Wednesday, I think it is, against the Warriors in their barn. So similar to what they just did in Portland. Sort of weird little quirk to start the season.
Yeah.
They'll have played 5 games and only played 3 teams. That's weird. Sort of odd, but anyway.
Very strange. I don't know if Jordan Hawkins keeps it up when DeJounte Murray comes back, but if there are lines out there that you're looking at for 6th man of the year, put a little money on Jordan Hawkins. This guy is a baller. I mean, when he gets out there and lets it rip from 3-point land or from 2-point land, he is going to score. But yes, also 2 game sets, weird. Also hearing Joel Myers and Kevin Calabro on broadcast, also weird because I heard a line. I thought, oh, great line. It was Anthony Simons hits a 3, and it was the Blazers' Kevin Calabro. It came down wet. Showers in the area. So it was just a funny line. I wanted to clip it. And I thought, okay, it's the road team, I guess. Just because I made a mistake. But I heard Joel Myers making the call, and I said, I can't find it. Where is it? But it wasn't Joel Myers. It was Kevin Calabro. The voices are so similar.
Yeah, they
voice
got those
lines.
deep, booming voices.
Yes.
Yeah, very
Great
similar.
radio voices, even though they're TV guys.
That's right.
I wonder if they can put something weird together when you get a 2-game set of the 2 broadcasters. What could they do?
Crossover?
Crossover, yeah.
Who said it?
Yeah. Let's see if your fans can tell that we changed guys. Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, wow. They
That
just
would be
straight up
awesome,
swapped.
actually. Yeah.
You never know.
Mind-blowing.
I would never Lamar heard Kevin Calabro on that call. Anyways, just wanted to make a herd joke. Got nothing.
Okay, B.I., what about you? What for another winner?
I'm going with the Toronto Raptors. You all might say, you homer. Well, listen, I was thinking homerish things because the Atlanta Hawks, I thought that was very impressive, their start to this weekend, and nearly hanging with OKC. But I think the Toronto Raptors legitimately had a good weekend. Now, they get the win against the Sixers, and then they go against the Timberwolves on Saturday, where the play-by-play man, Michael Grady, there said, this Raptors team is a young, hungry team. The Raptors have already won the season. A broadcaster is saying that they're hungry.
Come on.
Okay. No, and I know I'm going too far, but he must have did some tape watching himself. Yeah. He watched what they did against the 76ers on Friday and said, wow, this team is scrappy. Now you might say, okay, the Sixers team doesn't have Paul George and Joel Embiid. Well, they've got an all-star, just like Scotty Barnes. With Tyrese Maxey playing there and Scotty Barnes on the other side, the Raps have a ton of injuries themselves. Plenty. Yeah. And they just got hungry. It starts with Barnes. First possession of the game, he went end-to-end, pushed out Caleb Martin, dunk. He had 11 shots in this game. 7 were from within 2 feet because he was just assertive in this one. They were making an effort to do what they had to do, and that was really impressive on that side. On the other side, where Darko Rajakovic has said we're going to be a defensive team, they did a much better job. Tyrese Maxey had a bad shooting night, and guys like Jonathan Mobo, who's an undersized big who has to just scramble when they switch onto him or when he gets switched, and he did a great job of getting out to Tyrese Maxey. It was awesome. He's only 6'6", but he's got long arms. I did the check because I said, how can he be able to keep with Maxey and be able to threat everything that Maxey does? He's got 7'2" arms, 12 points, 9 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks, 7 free throws. He was going at it hard. I think he's going to continue to play even when Kelly Olynyk and their bigs come back. I think he'll play over Bruno Fernando. He's got to. Anyways, then the next night, they lost to the T-Wolves, but the T-Wolves had to play their starters until the very last minute. It was that close. I think it's a win. I don't care. Without Emmanuel Quickley, without R.J. Barrett, no Bruce Brown, no Kelly Olynyk, no Jacoby Walter. They got 5 guys they're out to be able to play with them.
A lot of their shooters, too.
Yeah.
That's the issue right now with this team.
Other than Grady Dick, who was awesome.
He's the only one.
Yeah, career high for him, 25 points, 4 threes, and the 2-point shots were the more impressive thing. He got into Rudy Gobert, banked it over him, hit a jumper from the elbow, or he turned around, hit it over him, and won. He is, I think, 10 for 19 from 2-point land this season.
There we go.
Good start. So there's some good things there against the Wolves. I won't get into them because I've already homered enough, but I do think it's a bit of a win weekend for them. They're playing hungry at the very least, even though they don't have their guys right now. Yeah, which may hurt tonight without their guys playing Denver. That'll be tough. But anyway.
Maybe. That's a team that needs a win.
Yeah.
So that could be
exactly.
a tough night for the Raps.
Yeah.
The Raptors are missing all of their, besides Grady Dick, like you said, all of their shooters. All of, quickly. RJ Barrett. Even Kelly Olynyk is good for like a 3-pointer or two. And obviously Walker as well. But, I checked the score or the log, whatever you want to call it, for the Sixers-Raptors game test. That was not a quick game. No, there was 99 free throws.
Oh.
And it was, getting close to 3 hours long. That was a long one. And without these guys, those are the type of games that unfortunately they've got to scrap out those wins because it's not really pretty offensively. But they did. So, I had a chuckle when I saw you put the Raptors in here as a winner of the weekend. But, you made the case.
I think so.
The silver lining case.
Did you see Darko, how excited he was after they beat the 76ers? He came in running into that locker room. Rah! He was just excited. And that's all you expect from a team without a bunch of their players, is to play hard.
Yes. A bunch of other little mini weekend winners here. The Celtics. We got to show them some love. I know it'll be easy to overlook them all season long because they're defending champs and they're just punking teams. They made the most threes in the first 3 games of a season in NBA history because they have now hit 68 total 3-pointers through 3 games. They had 29, which tied the NBA record in game 1, then 17, big fall off, and then 22 there over the weekend. So they lead the league in 3-pointers made, 3-points attempt, 3-point percentage. They're shooting 44.2% from deep. Pretty good. Not bad. So the Celtics have to get, a small nod here for a winner of the weekend. Kevin Durant became just the 8th player in NBA history to eclipse 29,000 career points. He did that on Saturday night. Suns beat the Mavericks 114-102. That's a big win for them. A bit of a rivalry there with Luka and the Mavs. So it goes LeBron, Kareem, Karl Malone, Kobe, MJ, Dirk, Wilt Chamberlain, and Kevin Durant. I know because LeBron's still playing and is at the 40,000 plus mark. It's like, well, okay. Still, I don't want this guy has scored 20 points per game for his entire career since he was a rookie. He's never gone under that.
Yeah, he's one of the greatest scorers we ever have seen.
Yeah.
He probably didn't envision playing his entire career with LeBron James.
That's right.
Breaking records ahead of him because you see 29,000, you're like, okay.
I know.
Great.
I know.
Get to 30, which he'll do later this season.
He will do later this season. And I know some ABA fans out there. Hey, what about Dr. J and Moses Malone? If you combine their ABA with their NBA, I think Durant is 10th.
Excellent.
Those guys slip ahead of them. But, this is just NBA. And then finally, I thought Maxey was pretty special on Sunday in the Sixers' first win against the Pacers. It took overtime, but he scored 45 points, Maxey did. He started 2 for 11 from the floor, but then sort of went nuts in the fourth quarter and in overtime. He had a step-back 3, then he had 2 really tough left-hand finishes. But he's circling around a bunch of Blazers. They're trying to blitz him. The guy's just too quick, got to the rim. So, huge game from him. That's probably a season high for anybody. 45? I don't think anybody's eclipsed that yet.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, knocking on the door of our first 50-point game. But, he's just with no Embiid and no Paul George, it's sort of Iverson 2.0 with Maxey on the Sixers.
He's the only guy that can score.
He's the only guy that can score. And, he started slowly. I mean, he's got a really bad percentage. In fact, it's very Iverson-like in terms of first couple of games to take that many shots and have that low of a field goal percentage. I think Jordan had a weird year where he started slowly, and then Iverson back in was it his MVP or his year after? But anyway, he's asked to do a lot. Maxey is, and he did enough against Indiana on Sunday. Yeah,
in the second half is when he realized we're 0-2. I didn't have a good first half. Let me do this thing. And it worked. The percentages have not been good. 35% from the floor, 23% from 3. But Nick Nurse is playing him every single minute he possibly can. Yeah. He leads the league in minutes played, 42.7 per game. They needed a victory, and they finally got one.
Yep. Let's go to...
I got a couple more, few winners for you. Trae Young versus LaMelo Ball on Friday night. They both basically went for 30 and 10, and it was just highlight after highlight. Both teams said, we're not playing defense this game. Let's do some cool stuff. So worth checking out the highlights on that one. The Clippers, I think, get a winner of the weekend. Norm Powell in particular is getting buckets right now. He's on my most underrated list. They look pretty athletic as a team. They bring in those bench guys. We got Kai Jones back in the league. Yeah. Chris Dunn. They both shaved their heads like it's 1997.
Yeah.
Wild stuff. And then finally, Obi Toppin gets a winner of the weekend for me. The Leggy on top of the backboard. Everybody's like, how do you get it down? How do you get it down? Oh, you pick up a mop, you poke it with a stick. Obi Toppin jumped up and hit it out.
Yeah, the pigeon, sort of, yeah, up top. You called it a ledgy.
Pigeon, yeah, I did call it a ledgy.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be impressive.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah, that was awesome. It was like, how many guys can do that?
Oh.
Probably a lot. My guess is actually probably
Really?
a lot, and he's the first one to think I can do that.
One attempt, too.
One attempt.
Yeah, that was baller.
sick.
Yeah.
That was sick. I would like to see somebody else try it so we can know if it's easy or not.
Yeah.
Derek Jones Jr., could you do it? Probably.
So it's
Yeah,
12 or 12 and a half feet, whatever it is. It's one of those. That's super duper high.
Super high. That's
Yeah.
impressive, man. That was cool.
Yeah. And
Because you obviously have to have, of course, insane hops, which he does. But I think you do got to be a certain height. Like,
A
I
little
don't
bit of
think
height.
John Morant's doing that. I don't think like Ant's doing that. I really don't. I just think they're too short. But he's 6'9". That's why Derek Jones Jr. is a good one.
The tall, great jumpers.
Yeah, the tall, great jumpers.
Big Johnson? Maybe. got
Yeah,
hops.
yeah. I mean, John Collins back in the day, maybe. Like, couldn't jump over a plane though.
that was awesome, though. You're like, there's no way he can get that. Knocks it out one shot.
That was awesome.
yeah, that's why you got to add that to the dunk contest. If you're somebody, take it off the top of the backboard and dunk it. I mean, it's a little like, what did JaVale McGee do with the two rims? Now, he didn't go super high. He didn't go
No,
to
he
the
just,
top.
like, split his arm.
He split his arms, and Dwight did the sticker on the backboard.
Dwight did another one where didn't he dunk on like a little mini hoop that they put up really high?
Like a
Is
hoop
that
was
right?
on it, and he like took it off the hoop and dunked it, I think, right?
Oh, that's it. Yeah, they had placed the ball on the
Similar to
little
what
mini
you're
hoop.
saying,
Yeah,
That's what you got to do. Just put it on top of the backboard and dunk it. Speaking of little guys who can dunk, Cason Wallace dunking on Nikola Vucevic. Awesome. Sorry, Vuce. He got dunked on twice this weekend. Both Giannis and Pascal.
Well, he got dunked on twice by Giannis.
Yeah.
But he did get dunked on severely twice, I would say. But Vooch is great because we wouldn't have these high dunk scores if it wasn't for guys like him who are going to challenge the shot and not get to it.
I do want to say one thing about the LaMelo-Trae Young matchup. Awesome. LaMelo did a step back three from the sideline. I don't think that's ever been done. Like, he came around to pick, got a ball, and literally put it into his hands and took a step back three, one-legged shot. Yeah. Like a Dirk, whatever it was. But it was literally right beyond the three-point line. People don't do that.
He's shooting one-footed threes a lot, like runners right now. I'm doing a short on it this week.
There you go.
Yeah.
He's got his eye on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Zeroed in on it.
Also, I think they combined for 17 turnovers, the two of them. When you're throwing crazy passes, man, who knows where they go?
Yeah. If you're watching the highlights, you're like, oh, this guy is amazing. Then you watch the game, and
you're like,
there's some bad
No,
possessions.
he is amazing. He is amazing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You're going to have turnovers if you try cool passes. And that's why a guy like Tyus Jones always has great
he's
assist
not
to turnover.
trying anything
He's like, I'll
crazy.
pass it to the guy on the wing.
Yep.
LaMelo's like, I'll pass it to the guy on the other wing through your legs. It'll work 1 out of 10 times, but that one time,
It's worth
Beauty.
it. I guess it's worth it.
that's right.
All right, let's go to NBA weekend losers. I'll get this started. Unfortunately, Steph Curry's ankle is going to get a loser of the weekend because he underwent an MRI last night after twisting his ankle twice in that game, in that loss to the Clippers. Now, Warriors coach Steve Kerr says the sprained ankle is moderate at worst. I guess he said mild to moderate. So he's trying to downplay it. Maybe it's not that bad. But if you watched it, it was like, ugh. So Curry first twists his ankle with like 3 minutes left in the third quarter. And he didn't step on anybody. It was just one of those classics, like the foot went whoop, whoop. And so he like sort of hobbles off. He stays on the bench, and the trainers come over, and he starts using the resistance band. You're like, okay, that's okay. I mean, we see guys obviously twist their ankle. It happens to us when you play pickup ball. Sometimes you're like, okay, just go doop, doop, and you come right back. But he checks back into the game with 4 minutes into the fourth quarter, and I think it was like seconds later, like right when he had checked back in, sort of went to set a screen, and there it goes again. And of course he's like frustrated as hell, and that time did not return after that. And I don't know if we have results, if anybody's checking Twitter here on the MRI, because it happened late last night. But this isn't good for the Warriors, who had all great vibes here early in the season. I mean, they look good. They're winning. Curry doing Curry-like things. It'll just be a game changer if he has to miss any sort of substantial time here with an ankle injury, which he's obviously had ankle injuries in his career.
Right. Apparently, LaMelo Ball took Steph's advice this year and started supporting his ankles more, wearing those ankle braces more. That's working for LaMelo Ball, and hopefully it works for Curry just to get back. I didn't seem extreme.
Right.
But
Agree.
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, it was more like he was like just frustrated, I guess. Was like, damn, it's one of those like, damn, maybe I shouldn't have come back and just taking it easy here after the first ankle twist, or just like, again, these are just like, they're so like, there's nothing happening. It's just his ankle's just rolling there. But yeah, we will wait to find out how severe it is. Does Buddy Hield get slotted into the starting lineup? Where do they go? Do they need more playmaking with Podziemski? Decisions to be made here from Curry if Curry is to miss a week or two.
Yeah, that's probably what it'll be, a week or two, because I agree. It didn't look like super bad. He didn't have a ton of weight on it, but obviously enough to keep him out. After he came back once again, I assume Buddy Hield will be the starter just because I think that the Warriors need to get more shooting in to their starting lineup. It is at expense of their playmaking, so the silver lining is that Wiggins has been pretty solid to start the season. He's the only guy outside of Curry who can go get his own offense right now. Podziemski just is struggling to start the year. I think he's made 1-3 in their first 3 games so far. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess I would go with Buddy just because that gives you the most chance that Jonathan Kuminga can then be unlocked because he's really struggling to start the year too. So we'll see what the Warriors do here. The good thing for them is they only have 2 games this week. They got a back-to-back against the Pelicans on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then they're off until I do believe Saturday. So a little time to rest, and hopefully Curry gets back quickly because extended absences for him, or if he re-aggravates this injury, it's going to bury the Warriors.
Yeah, that's exactly right. All right, who do you have for a loser's weekend?
The Milwaukee Bucks. They should have started 3-0 because they do have a tough schedule to start, but they had 2 easies that they should have won. They're the Brooklyn Nets on Sunday, and before that, the Chicago Bulls. After starting 1-0 against the Philadelphia 76ers, where they looked great. Going on the road, they won. Then they go home, and they lost their home debut to the Chicago Bulls by giving up open shot after open shot after open shot. I did the tape myself, and their defense was just not getting out there. Whether it was allowing a guy to penetrate, and then they just couldn't rotate fast enough because the allowing of that penetration was just too easy, or even guys just coming down one pass away and just allowing way too much space for a Vooch 3. Giannis, guilty. Lots of guys guilty. Okay. So then you say, all right, maybe they just gave up 21 threes in a game, and maybe they'll come back against the Brooklyn Nets. Sunday against the Nets. These are games they have to win because of how tough their schedule is to start and to end the season, actually. But the Bucks gave it away. They gave it away. They are a much bigger team, especially because Nick Claxton is coming off the bench right now, minutes restriction. So they got Dorian Finney-Smith starting at center, and you could see what the Bucks' game plan was: go at him. And Brook Lopez did that the first couple possessions, but they allowed the Nets to grab 12 offensive rebounds, which has been a Milwaukee Bucks problem, defensive rebounding, the last couple of years. And to start the season, same old thing. And in the fourth quarter, it was somewhat of a close game. They just gave up against the Brooklyn Nets. They strictly did. It was so bizarre to watch this game. They literally just stopped running and stopped playing extremely hard. I don't know if it has to do with them playing the Boston Celtics tonight and them just looking forward to the schedule, but just a true brain fart after another brain fart in those last 2 games. Again, if they win tonight against the Boston Celtics, which is a possibility, I know it seems weird, but they do play Boston pretty well, and they start the season 2-2, you'd think, looking into the schedule, 2-2 start, yeah, makes sense, but they're doing it inversely. It's the wrong way.
Exactly.
They should have done the other thing. And they beat the Sixers, and again, they looked fine. Defensive rebounding, another problem there in that one, but they just allowed Cam Thomas to do his thing again, 32, because he's great. And they lost this game. They just gave it away. So the Bucks have to turn it around, but they just didn't seem all there yesterday.
Guards gave them a problem all weekend long. Kobe White,
Yeah.
Zach LaVine was great. You said Cam Thomas. Dennis Schroeder was good.
He was great.
Specifically, I guess, sort of quick, obviously, shoot first type of guards. That's a part of a problem with Damian Lillard as sort of like your main guy or your perimeter player. That's been a problem his whole career, to stop guys at least. But yeah, it was too easy for these guys. The Bulls waxed them.
The Bulls smoked them. The Bulls didn't make 23s all last season.
Yeah.
And they hit 21, like Tess said, against the Bucks on Friday. And I mean, it's them and the Nuggets are the 2 most disappointing teams of the first week of the season because the Bucks made a lot of excuses for last year. Adrian Griffin was the scapegoat halfway through the season. We heard how Damian Lillard got traded so late in the season he couldn't stay in shape, and they come out and look basically the exact same as last year with the exact same issues on the defensive end. I feel like on offense, they are such a stagnant team right now. It's your turn to try and make an ISO bucket. It's your turn to try and make an ISO bucket. No flow to it. On defense, they're giving up so many transition points. They lost fast break points battle against the Nets and the Bulls. Tass mentioned the second chance points are a problem right now for the Milwaukee Bucks. They're getting back cut nonstop. Like Levine had so many easy back cuts against the Bucks. Poor closeouts. They're just running out there, hand down, getting a three in their face, or running out there out of control, easy drive to the hoop. The Bucks look terrible, I thought. Like you mentioned, the guards are destroying right now, and I really put this on Dame and Giannis for the most part. They're not playing super hard. They're not super engaged. They're waiting to get into the flow of the season, it feels like, and they're not bringing it on the defensive end. We know Dame is not going to, just because that's how his career has played out. Yeah, he's just not a defender. But he's standing around. The problem is that Giannis is standing around too. Giannis is giving up a lot of these offensive rebounds. They need him to be the best player on the court every single night, and I don't think he's been the best player. We haven't hardly talked about Giannis once this season. I mean, it's been only a week, but he hasn't had a monster game. The Bucks, it looks like they got to fire Doc Rivers right now,
Yeah, get Adrian Griffin back.
Yeah, bring him back.
I was going to say, have we heard like a really good Doc Rivers excuse yet? He hasn't really given us a good one yet, because he's always got something in the chamber. I guess, you got the Chris Middleton
injury,
angle.
yeah.
Yeah, that sucks, and he is important. But I haven't heard really Doc give us something creative yet.
Not yet.
I can't wait to find out. But that's an obvious one, the Milwaukee Bucks. As is yours, TK. You said it already. I mean, it's the Bucks and it's sort of the Nuggets. Take your pick as who's been the most disappointing.
Exactly right. A couple of our recent champions, a couple of great teams that you would think are championship contenders, but maybe not. The Nuggets kind of lost their second game against the Clippers, also at home. Very similar to their opening night loss as well. Jokic, though, did go for 41 points. He had a career-high 7 3-pointers, took 12 of them, and I really think it was a coaching decision for him to take all of these shots. It felt like, to me, Michael Malone saying, we don't got three-point shooters, so you have to take them if you're open. Because a lot of these, at least in the first half, wide open looks for Jokic, where usually he'd let a play develop, maybe figure out a pass, but he's saying, I know we're not a shooting team. We need me to shoot. So kudos to him for shooting it. The rest of the Nuggets, unfortunately, went 7 for 35 from three. So great shooting from Jokic, not great shooting from the team. The bench has been a disaster. They went 3 for 18 from the field in this game, scored 11 points. I saw my friend Will yesterday. He's a Nuggets fan. He said, I knew they were going to suck when they signed Westbrook.
The curse
Sorry
of Westbrook.
to this guy, but he's the scapegoat. He's sticking out like a sore thumb.
He's been so bad,
8 points on 2 of 18 shooting, 7 assists, 2 turnovers. He's been a minus 24 in game 1, minus 13 in game 2. The defense, to me, actually was the problem for the Nuggets in this one. They got shredded in pick and roll. Zubats went for 24 points on 11 of 17 field goals. Norm Powell went for 37 points. The Clippers scored 52 points in the paint. The Nuggets are now 0-2 at home. Their first home loss last season was December 8th. Second was December 16th. They lost consecutive home games once, the end of March.
Whoa.
And now they're 0-2.
Wow.
They look bad, man.
Yeah.
They have them and the Bucks, they look like they've been playing for 6 months already.
Yeah.
They look so tired.
Yeah, they're looking like a team playing in March that are like waiting for the playoffs to get here or something like that. But it's opening week, yeah.
Yeah, it looked like Jokic decided, I'm going to take over. I need to win. I need to hit some shots for us to win. And he did that. He was awesome until the very end. I mean, he dropped 41, and this team loses because the Clippers were allowed to go on an incredible run. I think it was 13 straight or 11 straight in the last few minutes of this game. Because really the game, I think, was lost because of the Nuggets bench with Westbrook, Julian Strawther, Peyton Watson, and Dario Saric just not being able to put it together. The Westbrook signing and the Westbrook talk in preseason was, I'm going to get everybody else open shots. That's what he said about Julian Strawther. I'm going to get him open shots. And he just didn't take himself. He didn't take effective shots himself in this game. There was the one possession where he started a possession and went right into the post himself and took a fade Dirk shot with 17 on the shot clock. There's just no need for that. That's young Westbrook, and that's fine 10 years ago, but it ain't fine now. Julian Strawther didn't get enough. I mean, they just have to run plays. Like, we're talking about this team as a bench that should be running it as a bench. And the Los Angeles Clippers, you see them with Chris Dunn. Kevin Porter. They just run the best possible play. And so when Strother isn't getting enough, you have other non-shooters like Peyton Watson out there.
He's been horrible.
And Dario Saric, who's looking older out there.
It's over.
Yeah, so it's a difficult foursome right now. Again, I think Westbrook was taking a little too much on himself to try and remedy things, and he was 0 for 8. And there are sometimes he's going to hit some shots, but that's where they lost the game. Everybody else is a positive in this game. Starting 5 kicked ass in the end, but those 4 were huge negatives. The non-Jokic minutes was the question coming into the season. Mm-hmm. And I thought Westbrook could at least just keep generating shots. If you talk a good game, you're talking the talk, you just get good shots for other guys, not for yourself, over and over and over again. So that was the problem in this one.
All right, we have to give a loser of the weekend to the Miami Heat, or whoever created the Dwyane Wade statue, I guess specifically. Whoever okayed this, because on Sunday, as part of a 2-day celebration to honor Dwyane Wade, we had like 2,000 fans gathered in front of the team's home arena as the Heat unveiled Wade's bronze statue. And here it is for everybody on YouTube. The statue pose is supposed to be Wade's, this is my house celebration after he made a big buzzer-beating shot against the Bulls back in like 2009. And yeah, they look, I'll give them this. They got the fingers right. They look like fingers. But the Wade face is this is mind-blowing. I saw this obviously come across the timeline on Sunday. I checked 3 or 4 times to make sure this wasn't a troll job, like that I was gonna get like duped here, and before I shared it, I was like, there's no way this is real. Like it's so bad.
Hey, it looks good from the neck down.
Yeah, they got the jersey.
It looks fine
shorts.
from the neck down.
But yeah, the head is this is I mean, I hate it. Feels like one of the worst we've ever seen. People were
I still think Cristiano Ronaldo wears the crown for worst statue, but this was this was all I saw on my feed last night for an hour straight.
Oh yeah, the memes were flying, and obviously more comparable to Morpheus from the Matrix, and like a
lot of Thanos.
Yeah,
I saw.
Thanos. Yeah. But because if you covered the jersey, I don't know, if you had just shown you the head, Tass, I don't think you'd say Wade.
Right.
I really don't.
Yeah, when they zoomed out, like I saw a picture from, 100 feet away, I thought, okay, looks all right, but
From 100 feet away.
it looks exactly like what Dwyane Wade did in the arena on the scorer's table. This is my house. So
cool pose.
Yeah, a cool pose. You don't often see really super cool poses, but then you get a little closer, you start to walk in from 100 feet away, and now you're 80 feet away, now you're 70 feet away, now you're 60 feet away, and you say, why is his hair and his chin so white? I mean, it looks like he's 90 years old.
That's true. Right. He looks super old.
It's like matching his jersey, he's wearing a black jersey, but it's all sort of whited out. It's somewhat, it looks weird.
It looks like shit.
It looks weird.
And I can't believe, like, at some point, somebody doesn't go, we can't show this. That we can do better. We have to do better, because that's horrible. And I guess Wade was involved, and I guess they were showing him as it was going on, and he got his blessings, I guess. But even he, when he was talking to the crowd, was like, who is that guy? So he said. So, like, I guess even he's admitting, like, that's not really a great, depiction of me.
I think it's the same guy that did the MJ and the Kobe statue, right? And those look pretty good.
Yeah. And I know what you're thinking. Was this Victor Solomon's work? No. Or Jeff Hamilton. They got a statue guy who's done ones prior, and some are definitely okay. I saw some people, like, in terms of bad NBA statues. Do you remember the Scottie Pippen one?
Oh, I do.
It's not great.
No.
But I looked at it last night and I was like, it's way better than this.
It is, yeah.
I mean, and I'm sorry, Wade is 100 times sexier looking than Scottie Pippen. So it's like,
interesting. You think that maybe that's the problem? No, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying maybe it's easier to make a Pippen face.
Yes.
than a Wade face.
Yeah. We're
too handsome.
Much more lenient. We're like, well, it's not great, but it's like, well, look at the real guy.
I saw last night people were like, how have we gone so far backwards in statue making? Because you see these statues from ancient Greece, ancient Rome, they're beautiful. So either were way worse at making statues because that was like the main thing they did back then. They were just making statues nonstop. Or maybe the statues were just as bad back then, and like when the Socrates statue came out, they're like, that looks nothing like that guy Socrates. Who made this?
Right. Oh, interesting.
No, yeah, it's funny you say that because I'm looking through statues now to see if gray hair and gray faces are a trend in statues. Because
What?
well, he's whited out. That's a big problem with it. And maybe that was a thing that they decided to sculpt like. But what I'm seeing, I bring that up when I say you. It's funny you mentioned that because I'm seeing all the classics.
All the classics.
Yeah, because those were all gray statues. They're gray rock that they were made from. So that was a different time. But I don't even see it being a trend where men or whoever is depicted in a statue with gray hair.
Well, this is
because that's the weird thing to me. That's the super weird part to me. It's whited out for
it's
some
also
reason.
2024. It's sort of ironic. We could literally just do a 3D printing of Dwyane Wade. It could be identical to Dwyane Wade if we really wanted to. Now, I get it. It's the arts. It's the craft of building these statues out of bronze, using their hands. But maybe we shouldn't for this. Honestly. Like the one thing I'm okay with sort of computers and AI and 3D print, maybe this is the one thing we give them.
Yeah.
Because it will look perfect. It could look perfect.
They're taking his job. They're taking everyone's job. 3D printing. It's possible.
Oh, anyway.
Look, man, we need somebody training right now. LeBron James is going to retire eventually, and he's getting at least one statue, maybe 3. So you have like 3 to 5 years to perfect your skills to master this man's face.
Right. Well, like I will say, for the Lakers statues are pretty good across the board. And then the Sixers, they got sort of smart with it. They're like, hey, let's just make tiny statues. Just take all the guys and shrink them down. You can't really tell. You can't get all that angry about that. But this one, ooh.
It's a great question. Which teams make a LeBron statue? Because Durant, who was at the free throw line the other day, or he was getting ready for a free throw, he was at the Los Angeles Crypto Arena. Dwight Howard was sitting in the front row. He said to Dwight, you're not a Laker, you're an Orlando Magic player. Dwight Howard's going to make an Orlando should make a Dwight statue. But who will make a Kevin Durant statue? OKC doesn't even make statues. So I don't know if he'll get a statue, period. LeBron, another question. Who makes the LeBron question with the LeBron statue? I don't know. It's just a good podcast.
Cleveland, you can lock it in.
Yeah, Cleveland's of course. Yeah.
I think he'll get a Miami one as well.
By this guy?
Yeah, we're getting a different guy. Yeah, probably LA too. They've got a lot of statues.
Yeah, heavy on statues.
Do you think they'll change this? You think they'll update it at some point?
Nah.
It just is what it is.
What are they gonna do? A full nother statue? Throw that one in the ocean? We'll let somebody find it? Like, what is this relic?
Yeah, it looks like a relic right now, yeah.
Oh, it's so bad. But, gave us a lot of humor last night on Twitter. Funny. A lot of funny memes. Especially, it didn't take long for them to take the bronze statue Wade had and put it on the iconic LeBron and Wade
Too good.
Not alley-oop. Everybody thinks it's an alley-oop, but obviously the pass to Wade where he dunks it, or to LeBron and Wade's doing like this. Some funny stuff out there, but horrible statue. All right, let's get to our pick'em game for tonight, Tass. Where are we going?
Well, Houston is in San Antonio. They're doing it again. Second game of a 2-game set on Saturday. San Antonio smacked Houston. Wembanyama, 29 points, and got into that little kerfuffle with Dillon Brooks, who grabbed the ball while Wemby was trying to grab it. Chris Paul got in there defending Wemby. But what happens tonight? Does Houston come back from, what was it, shellacking? Şengün also has got to come back. Only 6 points in that game against Wemby.
Yeah.
So tonight, it's 2.5 points that the Houston Rockets are favored by. So San Antonio can lose by 2 or win, obviously, if you're picking them. The only one amongst us who is picking them is Eshua Kid. The Esh. The rest of us have the
Maybe
Rockets.
back him. Esh is 3-1. Everybody else 500 or under. So,
but like we just said, it's difficult to win 2 straight games in a 2-game set. So that was my thinking.
Yeah,
in this
same.
one.
Same here. It's like I believe in the Rockets, and I think they'll be much better here in this second game. And tough to beat that team twice, but they don't, like you said, they don't have to beat them. The Spurs, they could still cover losing by 2 points in a close game. But we'll see. We'll see if Esh is right. That'll be one of the games that we're probably watching a little bit tonight on playback. Going to try and make this a Monday staple. We'll get going around 7:30 p.m. Eastern and bouncing around all of the games. There's a ton of games on here on a Monday night. I think a ton starting at like 7:30 too, 8 o'clock. There's not many late games tonight. So we'll go live for a couple hours and bounce around and hopefully catch some fun finishes.
Some great ones. Like the Nuggets Raptors. Just kidding. Cavs Knicks. Bucks Celtics.
Yeah.
Some
1 versus
goodies.
2. Let's hear it.
Bucks Celtics?
No, Ricochet versus Star.
You're going down to the Fortress tonight?
Yeah, they got a nice statue down there.
They
Dominique
do.
Wilkins looks great.
He does.
Yeah.
That is a great statue. And you said you didn't mind the pose of Wade. Just to go back to that for a second. I get it. Obviously, an iconic Dwyane Wade moment. But, like, I don't know. They may have overthought it. Like, it looks sort of funny. He's got, like, sort of almost like Desmond Bain arms. Like, I don't know. It's like maybe you should just stick with basketball is what I'm getting at. Like a shooting or a dunking pose or something like that. Possibly. Or like a Magic Johnson passing, you know, Stockton.
This is my house.
Kobe's was a celebration too, right?
Well, he had 3, didn't he?
He does.
Well, he does.
He's got 1 so far. I think he's getting 2 more.
Oh, right.
I think his is like a hand.
Yeah,
up or
he's
something
the
like
81,
that.
the 81
Yeah.
point game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay.
You mentioned fun finishes. Not a fun finish. Bears versus Commanders.
Didn't see that.
Yeah, I saw that.
Talk about a loser of the weekend. My in-laws are in town. They got in like in the 4th quarter. You know, hugs and kisses with the girls. We're watching the game out on the porch. I said, "Oh, this is great. Everybody can come and sit down, watch the Bears win, or see them blow it in hilarious fashion."
You
Most
said
likely
that?
blow it in
Oh, no.
hilarious fashion. They're like, "No." I was like, "Just watch." Just watch. And then they lost. First of all, they gave the ball to an offensive lineman at the goal line. Guess what? He fumbled. Could have took
I
the
didn't
lead.
even know
Then
that.
they did take the lead and, of course, gave up the ridiculous Hail Mary at the end. My father-in-law, Dwayne, we're just catching up after the game. He's like, you know what? I don't think I'm ever going to forget where I was when I saw that. It was kind of like back in the day when the Challenger exploded. Oh, God. He was just like casually talking about things he remembered and came up with one of the great tragedies in American history. I was like, that game was sort of like that, actually.
What week is it? Week 6 or 7 in the NFL?
That was amazing.
That was crazy.
That was amazing.
What a throw. That's the way to do the Hail Mary, though. Definitely. I always like the
Bop
tip.
it.
The bop it. Yeah. Get a bunch of guys, chuck it to it, and then have a guy leak behind and try and just hit it up in the air behind. That's exactly what they did.
Alley-oop.
Perfectly played there for the Commanders.
If you got to make a statue for the Chicago Bears loss, it's got to be a Space Shuttle Challenger.
Oh, boy.
I mean, I don't know. That's what Dad said. I was with somebody who said, well, the Detroit Lions have scored the most points they've ever scored. 52. Apparently, that's the most points they've ever scored.
They look
They're good.
That was a lot, yeah.
They're good.
Before we go, we did receive some sad news over the weekend. OG Raptors blogger and former colleague of ours at The Score, Scott Carefoot, passed away after a lengthy battle with depression and alcoholism. His liver and his kidneys failed, and his body just shut down. He was just 49 years old. So this is a tough blow for us, obviously, knowing Scott. He went to Ryerson University, same school we attended. He was a little bit prior to us, but he started blogging when most people didn't know what blogging was. Like, you know, a lot of people talk about us in the podcast game. Oh, you guys were podcasting before anyone knew what that was. That was Scott Carefoot with RaptorBlog.com before anyone else really, like, or many other people started blogging and team blog and stuff like that. He was doing it very, very early, and he was doing it incredibly well. And just to add, like, he was pretty instrumental in us getting a job at The Score. I know he went to bat for us and wanted to get us in there and like really like sort of launched our careers, which we're still doing here, and got to The Score and eventually took us to the starters at NBA TV and still doing it here with The Athletic. So really sad news though.
Absolutely. And when we started our show coming out of Ryerson University, we were always keeping a tab on what everyone else was doing as we were trying to make our way after college. And we saw Scott and what he was doing on RaptorBlock.com. He was before his time. It was early, and he was working at The Score, and I remember him keeping an eye on us as well and putting in the word to the bosses. You got to do it with these guys. You got to get these guys, because I happened to be working there just before we got there, and I remember him putting the word in, and then we made our one-pager to give to Jonathan Savage was his name that would eventually hire us, and he helped. He definitely helped just plant seed after seed after seed to get us our jobs. But terrible news.
The memorial service for Scott will be held on November 2nd in Burlington, Ontario, in lieu of flowers and stuff like that. Family would kindly accept donations to the Center for Addiction and Mental Health in Ontario. And his ex-wife, Katrina, reached out to us and let us know that it will be live streamed too for people that can't make it. So again, that's on November 2nd. We'll try and share that. But our condolences to his ex-wife, Katrina, and obviously his friends and family, especially his 2 children, Max and Cameron. But gone way too soon at 49 years old, Scott Carefoot. We will be back tomorrow here on No Dunks. Join us tonight on Playback. And until then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. Remember, RaptorBlog.com. That was a good site.
Brace the day, people.